With the 50th anniversary of the supposed moon landing, there are a lot of shows starting to show up on TV, and I saw one of those the other night. Looks like it's a series called The Truth Behind the Moon Landings. And as you might know, there's been this speculation that the moon landings did not happen, that it was a hoax. And that's what this series is. It looks into the theories that it was a hoax and then looks into the science. Oh, by the way, I think this was on the Science Channel. I think it was episode 4. And I had some issues with this show, and I want to give my critiques.
I'm here with Leland and Mike Massimino, hoping these two former astronauts can help answer this question. If the moon has no air, no atmosphere, and no wind, then why does it look like the American flag is waving in the NASA footage?
And I do have some background in this topic. I first developed an interest in space travel in the late 80s, and in the late 90s, I first heard about the idea that it was a hoax. And that got me thinking. It was very interesting.
Why does it look like the American flag is waving in the NASA footage?
So the waving comes from their handling of the flag itself. As you see, as they're moving it around, they're shaking the flag. There's no air on the moon. There's no atmosphere. So even things that we have here on Earth, the air we have here on Earth, will slow us down a little bit.
So yeah, I came to the same conclusion while looking at that with my open mind. You could see his hands moving with the flag, so there's probably nothing there. And they were able to easily debunk that theory. And there's another one that I just want to point out. A lot of people say that on the moon there, where they landed there, the sun is going to be the only light source because they're on the moon and there's no lights around. And there's no moon either. But actually, the sun is not the only light source. There is the moon. It's right there. They're half surrounded by the moon. And while it might look like nighttime because the sky's dark, that's only because there's no atmosphere. You know, the sun's up, it is day, and the moon is being lit up. And also there's a third light source that people don't think about. The Earth is up there. So that and the flag thing are not very good conspiracy theories to convince people that the landing was a hoax. So let's hit the road with some good speculation.
First stop, Peter Hyams, who directed the 1978 sci-fi thriller Capricorn 1. We want to know where the idea for such a film came from.
Hey, Peter. Chad Jenkins.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you.
Hi.
Leland Miller.
I just remember during the Apollo missions, there they did this simulation of what was going on. Watching this and going, holy mackerel, this is a one-camera story. Wait a second. How does anybody know? I am not somebody who believes that the government conspired to fake a space shot. I think it's absolute nonsense. It's to not know who John Kennedy was. It's not to know what America was and what the people of NASA were because of John Kennedy. It was John Kennedy who said we're going to do it. He said we're not going to do it because it's easy. We're going to do it because it's hard.
Maybe it was too hard. That's the impression I got while I was reading the 1969 book, We Reached the Moon. And that was before I even heard about the hoax. I was just thinking, this seems really hard to believe.
I worked with NASA. Peter seems like a smart guy, and I'm happy he feels exactly as I do. That this whole alleged scheme of Hollywood trickery is just ludicrous.
This is a good time to mention that I really found this guy irritating, and he's clearly biased. He is an astronaut. I found it just irritating the way he would react anytime someone suggested a conspiracy theory. Really immature, and I find it hard to believe he's an astronaut, too. They covered another talking point of the conspiracy theorists, one I hadn't heard of, that Russia was testing big rockets while U.S. went with smaller, efficient rockets. You know, first of all, I got a question for the show. Are they suggesting that Russia didn't know about the power of rocket stages? They're the country that started the space age, launching the first object into space.
I remember being very surprised that they had done this. and that we had not been able to do it ahead of them.
They were ahead of us. That's the theory.
This idea of them beating us in space was a pretty awesome idea.
They were claiming superiority. And we didn't believe that, but they had been launching some rockets, and ours too often had been blowing up on the launch pad.
I thought stages were just a common thing, that when you've used up some of the engines, you jettison that stage and get rid of the weight that you're not using anymore. So, of course, they did this rocket test, model rockets. And yeah, of course, the U.S. rocket is just going to take off after it gets rid of that weight and just keep flying up and up. So I think here the show is cherry-picking and oversimplifying, leaving stuff out maybe. And also this simple rocket launch, just going up like a mile or two, that's really not comparable to a trip to the moon with rockets that are just on a different scale. But they were acting like they just got a major victory for the people who say we did land on the moon. So to sum up this video, proving that some of the talking points used by the moon hoax people are false, it doesn't prove that the moon landing was not a hoax.
Great balls of fire!
For more videos about thinking smarter and thinking deeper and figuring out some truths in our mysterious world, check out some of my 900 videos divided up into many playlists. I cover a lot of stuff. There's a lot of myths out there, a lot of faulty thinking.